I would now like to invite Dr. Zhang to the podium as he introduces our commencement speaker.
Now, it's my pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker, Dr. Peter Embi. He's a professor of biomedical informatics and a professor of medicine, and served as the chair of the Department of Biomedical Informatics and a senior vice president for research and innovation at the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. As an internationally recognized researcher, educator, clinician, and a leader in the field of biomedical informatics, Dr. Embi is a frequently invited speaker and has authored more than 160 publications. His areas of interest include clinical informatics, research informatics, public health informatics, and data-driven learning health systems. He has held research grants from such agencies as the NIH National Center for Advancing Translational Sciences, National Library of Medicine, National Institute for Drug Abuse, and Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, as well as numerous nonprofit foundations and public health agencies. In recognition of his contribution to the field, Dr. Embi has been elected to the National Academy of Medicine, American College of Physicians, the American College of Medical Informatics, the American Medical Informatics Association, and the International Academy of Health Science Informatics. Please join me in giving Dr. Peter Embi a round of applause as he gives our commencement address for this afternoon.
All right, like a good informatician, I'm going to speak from a computer here. It's a privilege to be with you. Good afternoon. President Love, Dean Zhang, esteemed faculty, staff, families, and friends, and most importantly, graduates of the class of 2025. It's an extraordinary privilege and honor to be able to speak to you today on this momentous day for all of you. Especially at a place like this that I've long admired. It's not only a deep professional honor, but I'll also share that it's a personal one too. I was sharing with Dean Zhang at dinner last night that the first time I walked on this campus was nearly 30 years ago when I was here with my father, who was being treated for a rare leukemia. And I'm very pleased to say he's still with us, thanks to the extraordinary efforts and discovery and incredible care that happens at a place like this, and really rarely happens elsewhere. And it's a very special place. And I know you all know that, but it means a lot to me. So again, thank you for the invitation. Today, we celebrate you, your achievements, your perseverance, and your entry into, and I know I'm biased here, but the most exciting, essential, and impactful field in all of science and medicine. I think that's, some people might think that's hyperbole, and I admitted my bias, but I actually really believe that. I think biomedical informatics is absolutely key to the future. I've thought it for a long time, and I'm even more convinced of it today. I want to start also by recognizing that your path here wasn't easy. It never is. But you've trained during one of the most tumultuous periods in modern health history. A global pandemic, major geopolitical swings, misinformation flooding our feeds, the rapid rise of new technologies that are rapidly changing the ways we work, live, and play, and interact with each other. And controversial threats to the core systems that we've long believed were stable and universally supported. And yet here you are, and you're ready. And I know you know this, but I want to emphasize to you that you're ready to build what's next. And we are counting on you to do that. And I, for one, am reassured and confident to know that all of you, coming from a program like this, are the ones that are going to be out there inventing the future. I honestly couldn't be more inspired. And as I've had a chance to speak with Dean Zhang and with a lot of your faculty earlier today, and knowing so many of you as I do personally, I am very confident that the future is in excellent hands. Common aphorisms come to mind. May you live in interesting times. Never waste a crisis. These all have some underlying truths and lessons for us today. And if there is a truism in our world, it's that it keeps changing. And even as that is challenging, it also presents opportunities. So as you prepare to take the next step in your journeys, personal and professional, let me share a little bit about how I got here, and maybe it'll be informative and illustrative to you. I trained as a physician in internal medicine and rheumatology. Like many of you, I was drawn to science and service. I wanted to help people. I wanted to ease suffering, and I wanted to diagnose and heal. And as I worked within the health system, I quickly realized what a lot of us recognize, which is that for all of its incredible capabilities and benefits, and even with all of our medical knowledge, our systems too often were failing us and needed to be improved. Data that could save lives too often went unused. Insights remained locked in silos. And far too often, the people we intended to serve got lost in complexity and inequity. And that realization became even more personal, not only with the experiences I shared around my father, but also for myself, where a little over 7 years ago, I was also diagnosed with a very rare disease, a pheochromocytoma. And it nearly took my life. I suddenly was on the other side of the table. I was a patient trying to navigate a fragmented system with uncertainty and misdiagnosis. Thankfully, unfortunately, because of who I am and how I was trained, and frankly some luck, I diagnosed myself, and I was able to seek out and get excellent care and survive the disease to be standing here with you. But it is not lost on me that 50% of people with the diagnosis that I have die before it's ever diagnosed. And it's not an exaggeration to say that I might not be here, but for the fact that I happen to be a physician who was trained and learned about this rare condition and was able to identify what was going on with me, even as I, like so many people, continue to experience misdiagnosis along the way. It's not an unusual thing, but it's not acceptable that you should be able to stand here and be a survivor just because you happen to be privileged to be a physician or have good access or know how to navigate a system. And more than that, it's not necessary, because we can fix it. You can fix it. And that's what I want to really charge you with. So it was humbling and eye-opening because, again, I realized that a lot of this could be improved by my chosen field, by biomedical informatics. And it was clear to me that if it wasn't clear before, it was increasingly clear to me that we had to do this. I also know as a rheumatologist, even before that happened to me, that a lot of my patients go for a long time without being diagnosed. And any clinicians in the room, I'm sure, have had similar experiences. So I've worked for a long time to try to create informatics-enabled systems that could learn and adapt and improve in real time. A learning health system powered by data, driven by insight, and centered on people. And these experiences with my own patients and my family and myself only reinforced the critical role of biomedical informatics in transforming our system. This field, our field, your field, is the key to our future. And you're now a part of that. And you now have a responsibility, like I do, to use what you know and the tools to actually make it better. Now, I like to not think of myself as old, even though my gray hairs keep telling me otherwise. But I'll share with you that when I started in the field, when I was sitting in a place not unlike yours, I didn't think you could do informatics full time. I thought I was going to be a rheumatologist who dabbled in informatics, but instead, I eventually realized I was an informatician who dabbled in rheumatology, and that the impacts that we can have through the work of informatics not only complement, but in a lot of ways can have an even more outsized effect than I could have had if I had been in my clinic day in, day out, every day of the week. That's not to say that that's not critically important. I value clinical care immensely, and I value being a physician. But I'm just saying that if any of you think that what you do and what you are trained to do is any less important than what physicians and nurses and pharmacists do, you're wrong. In fact, if you do it right, and you do it with passion, and you do it as well trained as I know you are, you can have an outsized effect that exceeds what a lot of us can do. More than that, I want to remind you, and I want especially your families and friends to realize that while we use a lot of these terms, and informatics can seem a bit foreign sometimes, fundamentally what we do in medicine and healthcare and biomedical discovery is we manage information. And recognizing that is the key to recognizing the importance of our discipline. So the realization that we are in a critical moment, that we have these incredible tools and these emerging technologies at our disposal, and that we all are now equipped with the expertise and know-how to be able to leverage them, that we can harvest the problems from the real world and understand what it is that needs to be addressed, and then we can bring these to bear, really drives the imperative that we have to do our work. We all know that healthcare is being stretched and strained in ways that we've never seen before. We've been saying this for a long time, but it's absolutely true and critical today to realize that costs are rising out of control, burnout is rampant, mistrust is growing, and the gaps in access and equity are widening. But there's good news. We have you, and we have informatics, and that is a critical enabling capability. We have the tools, the data, and most importantly, the people to transform our system from the inside out. So again, your training has prepared you not just to analyze data, but to shape meaning. Not just to build systems, but to make them better, and not just to ride the wave of technology, but to steer it toward justice, compassion, truth, and health. Informatics is not some side discipline. It is the engine. It is the central nervous system of what drives our environments where people come when they're most vulnerable. And so the criticality of informatics to the future of healthcare and biomedicine is big, and it's growing. I promise you I'm not just saying this because I'm at a commencement address. I really believe this, and I say it a lot. And I really believe that it has never been a more important time to be in informatics. Healthcare has to change. It cannot stay the way it is, and the way forward is going to be enabled through informatics. Let me talk a little bit about technologies, though. They're not insignificant. We know that to achieve what we need to achieve is about more than technology, but technologies are important, and we are experts at that intersection. They're evolving so rapidly that their impact is inevitable. Some of the effects we can't even anticipate today and might surprise even us. But if anyone is going to be able to anticipate and see where things are going, it's people like us who are trained at this critical intersection between technology, human-centered endeavors like healthcare practice, and the societal and public health concerns that we know so well. And that's why we need you to guide where we're going, to govern that, to invent and monitor what we're going to be doing with these technologies. If we don't, then the future could go in the wrong direction. But the future is not written, and so we need to write it. We won't have health systems resilient enough to handle the public health and global health challenges if you don't do what we need you to do. So that brings me to AI. It's everywhere. I'm sure everyone knows about the impacts that AI is having, which we couldn't have said a few years ago. And that's a testament to how incredible these technologies are and how rapidly they're moving. But it also is an imperative for us to focus and work. The promise has long been apparent to many of us, but it's really accelerating today. So again, maybe more so for your family and friends than for all of you who I know are the choir that I'm preaching to. AI is no longer on the horizon, it's here. It's in our clinics, it's in our labs, it's in our inboxes, it's in our homes. It's in our pockets. It's already reshaping how we diagnose disease, how we manage populations, how we make biomedical discoveries, and even how we communicate with our patients. But it isn't magic. It's math, it's data, it's code, it's decisions. And a lot of it is our decisions. We are the ones who have to guide where this goes. It's our responsibility to make sure that we do that in ethical ways that improve the lives of people as opposed to what could happen if we don't do our jobs properly. And so let me say it simply. AI is the future of healthcare. So guess what that means? You are the future of healthcare. AI is the future of biomedical discovery. So you're the future of biomedical discovery. AI is the future of public health. So you're the future of public health. And whether AI in healthcare becomes a tool for improving care and quality and equity, or a vehicle for bias and harm, whether it earns trust and fuels confusion or concern, whether it empowers clinicians and patients or leads us astray, the direction we go depends on how we design, govern, implement, and use it. And that's the role of the informatician. So with all of these changes and all that's happening so quickly, and atop ongoing concerns, as I mentioned, with misinformation, disinformation, growing concerns around health literacy, and advances that we see around us, advancing informatics is not just a technical challenge and a technical exercise, it's a moral one. And we have an ethical obligation to make sure that we advance informatics in the ways that we know are going to have the greatest impact possible for society. And I know that's why you all enrolled in the program. I know that's why you're sitting here today, and why you should be proud, and why you should be confident in your ability to shape that future. This is your moment, and it's also your responsibility. We are counting on you, and I know that you're more than up to the task. So, what do I hope for you, class of 2025? I hope that you stay curious. I hope that you stay rigorous, as I know your instructors and professors have taught you. I hope that you stay human-centered, even as the technologies might distract us from that critical central function of focusing on people. I hope that you challenge bad systems and you build better ones. I hope that you remember that behind every data point is a person, someone's child, someone's parent, someone's story. I remember fondly not too long ago when I was sitting where you are, and I could never have predicted the path that my career has taken. I truly couldn't. I kept pursuing my passions, interesting opportunities, rising to calls for service along the way, and I'm very happy to report that the journey has been extraordinary, and it's, thankfully for me, not done. It continues. And despite all of the challenges we face today, and I recognize them, and I know they're worrisome, and I know they're scary, and I want to acknowledge that, but despite that, I could not be more excited about the future, because the future is not written. We can create it. I often like to say, half jokingly, that computers do what they're told and people tend not to. That's true, but underneath that joke and is why the role of the informatician is so crucial. You aren't just exceptional engineers and technicians, and you are that, but that's not all you are. You are part of the healthcare professional community. Some of you came into this already being healthcare professionals, and now you're a different kind of healthcare professionals, and others are now part of this healthcare system. You are solution architects, you're workflow specialists, you're computationally driven diagnosticians, you're scientists, you're practitioners. You are exactly what healthcare needs. Will there be bumps? Yes, there will be bumps. That's life. Plans will change, detours will happen, but I urge you, stay grounded in what brought you here. Stick to what excites you, pivot when you need to, but above all, stay true to your values and stay positive. We are counting on you. I'm counting on you. Invent the future of healthcare so that as I get older, my healthcare and that of my children and my grandchildren will be better and smarter and more compassionate. That's the promise of informatics. So congratulations to all of you, to your loved ones who supported you, and to your incredible professors and staff at this remarkable school. You've been very well trained. You're ready. Now go and invent the future. Well done, and thank you all.
Again, I want to extend my gratitude to Dr. Embi for joining us this afternoon. His work is not done yet, and he will also serve as the keynote speaker tomorrow morning at the UT System AI Symposium Healthcare. So appreciate both your time and motivational words. Thank you again. We will now recognize our 2024-2025 graduates.